Rain hammered against the penthouse windows 30 stories above the city. Alina Martinez stared at the scattered papers across the marble counter, her hands trembling. Hotel receipts, credit card statements, weekend trips to places she'd never been, all bearing her husband's name. The diamond on her finger caught the fluorescent light, suddenly heavy as guilt she didn't earn. Her phone buzzed. Marcus's face lit up the screen. That wedding photo from 5 years ago, young, hopeful. She let it ring. The elevator chimed down the hall. Her heart stopped. "Alina, baby, I'm home." His voice used to mean safety. Now it sounded like poison seeping under a door. She turned as Marcus appeared in the doorway. Designer suit perfectly pressed. That $1 million smile. A gift box wrapped in silver paper. "Welcome home," she said. Her voice came out steady despite the earthquake in her chest. His smile died when he saw the counter. Color drained from his face like water circling a drain. "Alina, I can explain." "Can you?" She picked up a hotel receipt between 2 fingers. "Because I'm dying to hear how you explain the Ritz-Carlton in Napa Valley. Room 412, presidential suite, for 2. The gift box hit the floor. The sound echoed through the high ceilings, through her bones, through everything she thought was real. "Who is she, Marcus?" He opened his mouth, closed it, ran his hand through his perfect hair. "It's not what you think." Alina laughed. The sound could shatter glass. "It never is." She grabbed her coat and walked past him. He caught her wrist. "Where are you going?" "Somewhere you aren't." "Alina, please." His voice cracked. "We can work through this. I love you." She turned at the threshold, memorizing his face so she'd never forget what betrayal looked like in expensive cologne and Italian leather shoes. "If you loved me, Marcus, you wouldn't have broken the one promise that mattered." The door closed behind her with the finality of a coffin lid. By the time she stumbled into the all-night diner on 5th Street, the rain had turned her designer dress into a second skin. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. Everything looked harsh and unforgiving under that cold white glare. She slid into a corner booth, shaking. "Rough night." She looked up. A man stood beside her table, coffee pot in hand. Tall. Dark hair that looked finger-combed too many times. Expensive clothes gone wrinkled. White shirt unbuttoned at the collar. Something in his gray eyes recognized her particular brand of devastation. "You could say that." Her voice came out raw. "Are you the waiter?" He glanced down at himself and laughed without humor. "No, I just know my way around coffee machines." He gestured to the empty seat. "Mind if I sit? You look like you could use company." He paused. "Honestly, so could I." She noticed the thin white line on his ring finger where a wedding band used to live. "I don't even know your name." "Daniel Rivera." He slid into the booth across from her and poured coffee into her cup. "And you're Alina Martinez, wife of tech mogul Marcus Sterling. I've seen your picture in the society pages." Her blood went cold. "Great. So you know exactly how pathetic this is." "What I know," Daniel said, meeting her eyes over the rim of his mug, "is that you're sitting in a dive diner at midnight in a dress that costs more than most people make in a month. And you look like your world just exploded." His smile was bitter as black coffee. "Trust me, I'm not judging. And what makes you such an expert on exploded worlds?" Daniel's fingers tightened around his coffee cup. "Because mine detonated 6 months ago. Turned out my wife of 7 years was embezzling from my company to fund a lifestyle with her personal trainer." He took a long drink. "When the FBI came knocking, she disappeared with $3 million and left me holding the bag." Alina stared at him. "Your wife stole from you." "My wife destroyed me." His voice went flat. "Lost the company. Lost the house. Spent 4 months in legal hell proving I wasn't part of her scheme. The divorce was finalized last week." The diner door chimed. A drunk couple stumbled in, laughing too loud. Their joy felt obscene. "So what are you doing here?" Alina asked. "Besides dispensing coffee and life advice to strangers?" "Same thing you are, I suspect." Daniel refilled both their cups. "Trying to figure out what comes next when everything you thought you knew turns out to be a lie." Something cracked inside her chest. Not breaking, shifting, like ice beginning to thaw. "He's been cheating on me," she whispered. "Hotel receipts, credit card statements. God knows how long it's been going on." "I'm sorry. Are you?" She searched his face. "Because part of me wonders if you're sitting here calculating how to use this information." Maybe you're a journalist, or a private investigator, or just someone looking to profit from my humiliation. Daniel's laugh was sharp. Alina, I'm a guy who lost everything because I trusted the wrong person. The last thing I'm interested in is exploiting someone else's pain. She studied him for tells she'd missed with Marcus, micro-expressions that might reveal hidden agendas, but all she saw was exhaustion and a hollow recognition that matched her own. Why did you really come over here? Rain hammered against the windows. The drunk couple argued at the counter. The coffee machine hissed. Because, Daniel said finally, when I saw you walk in, soaking wet and trying not to fall apart, I recognized myself 6 months ago. And I remembered how much it hurt when everyone either stared or looked away. No one just sat with me. His voice went soft. No one just stayed. His honesty was a knife through her defenses. I don't need pity. Good, because I don't have any left to give. He met her eyes. But I do have coffee and time, and the understanding that sometimes the only way to survive the night is not to be alone in it. Alina's phone buzzed on the table. Marcus's name. 17 missed calls now. She turned the phone face down. Tell me something, she said. When your world exploded, when you lost everything, what did you do next? Daniel's gray eyes held hers across the chipped table. I made every wrong choice I could think of. Drank too much, pushed away everyone who tried to help, burned bridges I needed. He paused. I let the anger eat me alive. So what should I do? Don't be like me. His voice turned fierce. Don't let what he did turn you into someone you're not. And who am I supposed to be now? I don't know. But you get to decide. He leaned forward. That's the only good thing about hitting rock bottom. The only direction left is up. Outside, lightning split the sky. Thunder followed 3 seconds later, shaking the windows. Alina wrapped both hands around her coffee cup, drawing warmth from ceramic. I don't know how to do this, she whispered. I don't know how to be the woman whose husband cheated, the one everyone will pity or gossip about. You don't have to know, Daniel said. Not tonight. Tonight you just have to survive until morning. And then what? Then you survive until the next morning. And the one after that. Until one day you wake up and realize you're not just surviving anymore. A tear escaped down her cheek. Daniel reached across the table. His hand stopped just short of hers, hovering in the space between them. A question, an offering. She took it. His palm was warm. Solid. Real in a way nothing had felt real since she'd opened that manila envelope. Thank you, she whispered. For what? For not looking away. They sat like that as rain drummed its endless rhythm. Two strangers holding hands across a table. Two broken people trying to remember how to be whole. Then Daniel's phone rang. He glanced at the screen and his entire body went rigid. The warmth drained from his face. I have to take this. He pulled his hand away and stood, walking toward the back of the diner with the phone pressed to his ear. Alina watched him through the window's reflection. Watched his jaw tighten. Watched him run his hand through his hair in a gesture that spoke of stress and secrets. When he came back, everything about him had changed. His eyes were harder. His shoulders set with tension. I have to go. What's wrong? Nothing. Everything. He pulled out his wallet and threw cash on the table. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have sat down. I shouldn't have stayed. Wait. Alina stood. What just happened? Daniel looked at her with an expression she couldn't read. Regret. Fear. Something darker underneath. Sometimes the monsters from our past don't stay buried, he said quietly. Sometimes they come back. And when they do, they don't come alone. You're not making sense. I know. He touched her shoulder once. Just for a second. Be careful, Alina. The world we come from is smaller than you think, and the people in it have long memories and sharp teeth. Before she could respond, he was gone. The diner door swung shut, leaving her standing alone under fluorescent lights with more questions than answers. Her phone buzzed. Not Marcus this time. An unknown number. I saw you at the diner. I saw him. I have pictures. We need to talk. Tomorrow, noon. Grant Park. Come alone or your husband learns you spent the night with Daniel Rivera. The coffee in her stomach turned to acid. Another text arrived. A photo. Grainy, taken through the diner window. Her hand in Daniel's. Her face vulnerable and exposed. A third message appeared on the screen. Don't make me wait. Grant Park smelled like wet grass and yesterday's rain. Alina sat on a bench near the fountain, sunglasses hiding the sleepless night carved into her face. Noon sun cut through clouds in sharp blades. Joggers passed. A woman walked 3 small dogs. Everything looked normal. Nothing felt normal. Her phone sat heavy in her purse. Those blackmail photos burned into her memory. Mrs. Sterling. The voice came from behind. Female. Young. Confident in the way people are when they hold all the cards. Alina turned. The woman was maybe 25, dressed in designer activewear that cost more than it should. Blonde hair pulled into a high ponytail. Face pretty in that manufactured way that spoke of good genes and better procedures. But her eyes were cold, calculating. "Do I know you?" "Not yet." The woman sat down beside her. "Too close. But I know you. And more importantly, I know your husband. Intimately." The word hit like a slap. Alina's throat closed. "You're her." "I'm Vanessa Cole. And yes, I'm the woman Marcus has been seeing for the past 8 months." Vanessa smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. The woman he bought jewelry for. The woman he took to Napa. The woman he promised to leave you for. If he promised that, why are you blackmailing me instead of planning a wedding? Vanessa's smile sharpened into something dangerous. Because Marcus is a liar. To you, to me, to everyone. She leaned in. 3 weeks ago, I gave him an ultimatum. Choose me or lose me. You know what he did? Alina's hands clenched in her lap. He chose you, Vanessa said. Told me he couldn't leave his wife. Something about protecting his reputation, his investors, his precious company image. Her voice turned venomous. So I decided if I can't have him, I'll have what matters most to him. His money. You're extorting me. I'm offering you a business opportunity. Vanessa pulled out her phone. I have 8 months of text messages, explicit photos, video evidence of your husband's affair, evidence that would destroy him in a divorce, evidence that would make you very, very rich. Alina's mind raced. What do you want? $1 million. You pay me, I give you everything I have on Marcus. You take him for everything he's worth in the divorce. Vanessa's eyes gleamed. We both win. And if I don't pay? Vanessa showed her the phone screen. The photos from the diner, Alina's hand in Daniel's. The vulnerability written across her face. The intimacy of the moment. Then I send these to Marcus along with a story about how you spent the night after discovering his affair in the arms of another man. Daniel Rivera, specifically. Former business owner accused of embezzlement. Currently under investigation by the SEC. Vanessa tilted her head. You know how this works, Mrs. Sterling. In a divorce, the spouse who commits adultery loses leverage. Marcus could use these photos to paint you as unfaithful, to reduce your settlement, to keep his reputation intact while destroying yours. Alina's blood ran cold. I didn't sleep with Daniel. We just talked. Doesn't matter what happened. Only matters what it looks like. Vanessa stood. You have 48 hours to transfer the money to this account. She handed over a card with account numbers. After that, these photos go public, along with a very detailed story about your affair. This is insane. This is business. Vanessa turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and one more thing. Don't try to warn Daniel. He's got his own problems to worry about. Problems that are about to get much, much worse. She walked away across the grass, ponytail swinging, leaving Alina alone on the bench with a choice that felt like choosing which limb to lose. Her phone rang. Daniel's number. She answered without thinking. Alina. His voice was tight, urgent. Don't say anything. Just listen. Are you somewhere private? I'm in Grant Park, alone. Get out of there, now, go somewhere public. Somewhere with cameras. What's happening? The woman who contacted you. Vanessa Cole. She's not just Marcus's mistress. His breath came fast. She's my ex-wife's business partner. They've been running cons together for years. Blackmail, extortion. They target wealthy couples going through marital problems. The world tilted sideways. Your ex-wife. Alina. She didn't steal from me because she was greedy. She stole from me because it's what she does. It's what they both do. Daniel's voice cracked, and I led them straight to you. What are you talking about? Last night. That phone call at the diner, it was Alina. She told me she'd found a new mark. She told me to stay away or she'd finish destroying me. He made a sound like breaking. I didn't know it was you until I saw the photos this morning. The ones Vanessa sent me to prove they had us both. Alina's hands went numb. You knew her. You knew them. And you still sat down with me. No, I swear I didn't know. I thought she was gone. I thought I was free. His voice turned desperate. Alina, you have to believe me. Last night was real. Everything I said was real. How am I supposed to believe anything you say? Because I'm calling you right now instead of running. Because I'm about to tell you something that could send me to prison. He took a shaky breath. Elena and Vanessa. They don't just blackmail people. When blackmail doesn't work, they frame them. They plant evidence. They ruin lives so thoroughly that their victims have no choice but to pay. And you know this how? Because I helped them do it. Once. Before I knew what they really were. His voice went hollow. There was a man. A CEO. They said he'd hurt Alina. They said he deserved it. I helped them access his accounts. I helped them make it look like he was embezzling. Silence stretched between them like a wire pulled too tight. 2 months later, I found out he was innocent. That Alina had lied. That I'd helped destroy a man's life for nothing. Daniel's words came faster now. When I confronted her, she told me if I ever said anything, she'd make sure I went down too. She had emails, records, all showing me as the mastermind. So, you let her steal from you. I let her steal from me because it was the only way out that didn't end with me in a cell. His breath hitched. But it didn't matter. She kept the evidence anyway. She kept it as insurance, and now she's using it again. Alina's heart hammered against her ribs. Why are you telling me this? Because you deserve to know who you're dealing with. And because I'm tired of running. His voice steadied. I'm tired of letting them win. What do you want me to do? Meet me. Tonight. I know a place where we can talk safely. Where we can figure this out together. He paused. I know you have no reason to trust me. But I'm asking you to anyway. Because if we don't stop them together, they'll destroy us both. Alina closed her eyes. Saw those photos from the diner. Saw Vanessa's cold smile. Saw Marcus's face when he'd lied straight to hers. Saw Daniel's hand reaching across that table in the moment before everything went wrong. Where? She asked. He gave her an address. An industrial building on the south side. 8th floor. 9 p.m. Come alone. If either of them follows you, we're finished. Daniel. Yeah? If you're lying to me, if this is part of their con. Her voice turned to ice. I will make sure you regret it for the rest of your life. If I'm lying to you, he said quietly, I'll deserve everything you do to me. The line went dead. Alina sat on the bench as the sun climbed higher, as the joggers kept jogging and the woman walked her dogs, and the fountain kept spraying water into the air like nothing had changed. But everything had changed. She pulled out Vanessa's card, those account numbers, that 48-hour deadline. Then she pulled out her phone and made a call to the one person she swore she'd never call again. Marcus, she said when he answered, we need to talk, and you're going to tell me everything. Marcus arrived at the coffee shop wearing guilt like an ill-fitting suit. Dark circles under his eyes, hair not quite perfect. He slid into the booth across from Alina without the confidence he usually wore like armor. Thank you for agreeing to meet, he said. Tell me about Vanessa. Cole. His face went pale. How do you know that name? Because she's blackmailing me with photos of your affair. 8 months of evidence, Marcus. Hotel rooms, jewelry, promises you made. Alina leaned forward. So start talking, now. Marcus ran his hand over his face. When he looked up, something in his eyes had cracked open. It started at a conference in San Francisco. She was a consultant, brilliant, funny. She paid attention to me in a way you hadn't in years. His voice went quiet. I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling you how it began. I don't care how it began. I care about what happens next. She's not who she says she is. Marcus pulled out his phone and slid it across the table. I hired a private investigator 3 weeks ago when she started demanding I leave you. When she started getting threatening. Alina looked at the screen. A detailed report, photos, criminal records, Vanessa Cole. Real name Vanessa Hoffman. Multiple aliases. History of fraud, extortion, identity theft across 4 states. Known associate of Elena Hoffman. Sisters, not business partners. Sisters. Elena Rivera. Alina breathed. Daniel's ex-wife. Marcus's head snapped up. You know about Daniel? What do you know about Daniel? I know he's part of this. Marcus's voice turned hard. The investigator traced Vanessa's movements. She and her sister have been running this con for years. They target wealthy couples. The sister marries the husband, gains access to finances and information. Meanwhile, Vanessa seduces the mark. He pulled up more photos, dozens of couples, newspaper articles about divorces, bankruptcies, suspicious financial crimes. Once they have enough ammunition, they extract money from both sides. If the victims don't pay, they plant evidence, ruin reputations, destroy lives. Marcus met her eyes. Daniel Rivera wasn't a victim, Alina. He was part of it from the beginning. He helped them target me. Helped them target us. That's not possible. The investigator has bank records, email correspondence between Daniel and Alina from before she left him, planning sessions, target lists. He leaned in. Your name was on those lists 6 months ago. Before we ever had problems. Before I ever met Vanessa. The coffee shop sounds faded to white noise. Alina's hands went cold. They manufactured this entire thing? They specialize in couples who look perfect from the outside. High-profile marriages where both parties have something to lose. They create the affair, create the crisis. Then they swoop in to profit from the destruction. Marcus's voice cracked. I'm sorry, Alina. I'm so sorry. I thought I was having an affair because I was weak, because I was unhappy. But they made me unhappy. They studied us, found our vulnerabilities, exploited every crack in our marriage until I fell right into their trap. Alina stared at the phone, at the evidence, at Daniel's face in email after email discussing tactics, discussing targets, discussing her. The man who'd held her hand in that diner. The man whose eyes had recognized her pain because he'd helped create it. Where are they now? I don't know. The investigator lost track of Vanessa 2 days ago. Alina dropped off the grid completely. Marcus reached across the table. She didn't pull away, but I know what they want. They sent me demands, too. $2 million or they release fabricated evidence that I've been embezzling from my own company. Evidence that would destroy everything I've built. Why didn't you tell me? Because I was ashamed. Because I thought I could handle it alone. Because I'm an idiot who made every wrong choice. His hand tightened on hers. But I'm telling you now, and I'm asking you to help me stop them. How? The investigator found something. A pattern. Every mark they've hit, they've used the same offshore account for the final transfer. The same digital fingerprint. Marcus pulled up more files. If we can trace that account, we can prove the conspiracy. We can go to the FBI with everything, and save ourselves while destroying them. Yes. Alina pulled her hand back. There's one problem with your story, Marcus. What? Daniel told me about the account, about the evidence, about Elena's threats. She watched his face carefully. He told me to meet him tonight, to figure out how to stop them together. Marcus went very still. He's luring you into a trap. Or you are. Alina, I'm your husband. You're the man who cheated on me, who lied to me for 8 months, who's asking me to believe a story that conveniently paints you as the victim. She stood. I don't know who to trust anymore, but I know one thing. What's that? I'm going to that meeting tonight, and I'm going to get the truth, the real truth. Marcus stood too, desperation bleeding into his voice. If you go there alone, you won't come back. Not the same person. Maybe not at all. Then come with me. If you're telling the truth, prove it. Face Daniel together. Face all of this together. His jaw clenched. You're asking me to walk into a trap. I'm asking you to trust me the way you're asking me to trust you. Alina grabbed her purse. 9 p.m. Industrial building on the south side. 8th floor. Be there or don't. But I'm going. Alina, wait. She turned at the door. Marcus stood in the middle of the coffee shop, surrounded by the wreckage of their life, looking smaller than she'd ever seen him. I do love you, he said. I know you don't believe me. I know I don't deserve for you to believe me, but it's true. Love isn't enough, Marcus. It never was. The door closed behind her. 8 p.m. Alina sat in her car outside the industrial building. Rain had started again, drumming against the windshield in hypnotic rhythm. Her phone buzzed. A text from Daniel. Are you coming? Another from Marcus. Please don't do this. A third from an unknown number. Time's running out, Mrs. Sterling. Make your choice. She looked up at the building. 8th floor. Lights on in one window. Someone was waiting. Maybe Daniel. Maybe a trap. Maybe the truth she'd been searching for since she found those hotel receipts. Alina checked her purse, made sure the small recording device was running, made sure the panic button app on her phone was ready. Then she got out of the car and walked through the rain toward whatever waited in that 8th-floor room. The elevator was old, industrial. It creaked and groaned as it climbed. Each floor felt like a mile. Each second stretched like hours. 7th floor. 8th floor. The doors opened. A long hallway. Concrete floors. Exposed pipes. One door at the end standing halfway open. Light spilling out. Alina's heels clicked against concrete as she walked. Each step an act of will against every instinct screaming at her to run. She pushed the door open. Daniel stood by the window, backlit by the city lights. He turned when she entered. You came. You asked me to. I wasn't sure you would. After everything. He moved toward her, hands visible, body language open. Did you tell anyone you were coming? Does it matter? It matters because they could have followed you. Because if they know you're here, everything I'm about to tell you becomes worthless. His eyes searched hers. Did you tell Marcus? The question hung between them like smoke. Why would I tell Marcus? Because he's your husband. Because despite everything, you still want to believe in him. Daniel moved closer. But you can't trust him, Alina. You can't trust anything he told you. And I should trust you instead. The man who helped his ex-wife con innocent people? The man who sat with me in that diner knowing exactly who I was? I sat with you in that diner because I'm trying to stop this. Because I'm tired of running. Because Elena threatened to destroy the one good thing I have left if I didn't help her with one last job. His voice broke. And that one good thing was my daughter. The air left the room. You have a daughter. Had. Daniel's face crumpled. She died 3 years ago. Car accident. Elena was driving drunk. Elena survived. Emma didn't. Tears slid down his face. Elena's been holding that over me ever since. Threatening to go public with evidence that I was the one driving. That I killed our daughter and let her take the blame. Alina's heart hammered. Did you? No, God, no. But she has witnesses who'll say otherwise. She has police reports she doctored. She has a story so airtight that I'll spend the rest of my life in prison for something she did. His hands shook. So yes, I helped her. I helped her target people. I helped her destroy lives. Because I was terrified and broken and I couldn't see any other way out. He moved to a table in the corner and picked up a laptop. But 3 months ago, I found something. Proof. Real proof that Elena was driving that night. Video from a traffic camera she didn't know existed. Witness statements she couldn't suppress. Everything I need to clear my name and put her away forever. He set the laptop down between them. I brought you here to give you this. All of Elena's files. All of Vanessa's files. Every target they've ever hit. Every piece of evidence they've collected. Bank accounts, communications, everything. Alina stared at the laptop. Why? Because you're going to take this to the FBI. You're going to end this. And you're going to do it without me. Daniel's voice went hollow. Because once you open that laptop, once you see what's really on there, you're going to know I was part of it. You're going to know I'm guilty too, and you're going to have to turn me in along with them. You're confessing. I'm atoning. There's a difference. He pushed the laptop toward her. But before you look, you need to know one more thing. What? Marcus isn't part of this con. Elena and Vanessa targeted him, yes, but he didn't know. He's a victim like all the others. Daniel met her eyes. The man who cheated on you is exactly what he looks like. A weak man who made a terrible choice. But he's not a criminal, and he does love you. I can see it in every desperate attempt he's made to fix this. How do you know what he's been doing? Because I've been watching you both, trying to figure out how to stop this without destroying myself in the process. His smile was broken. Turns out there's no way to do that. So I'm choosing to destroy myself on my own terms. A sound from the hallway. They both froze. Footsteps. Multiple pairs. Coming closer. Daniel's face went white. No, 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 no. You were followed. The door burst open. But it wasn't Elena or Vanessa, it was Marcus, with 2 FBI agents behind him, and his eyes were locked on Daniel with an expression that made Alina's blood turn to ice. Daniel Rivera, one of the agents said, "You're under arrest for conspiracy to commit fraud, extortion, and obstruction of justice." Daniel didn't run. Didn't fight. He just looked at Alina with something that might have been relief. "I'm sorry," he said as they cuffed him, "for all of it." Then he looked at Marcus. "You set me up." Marcus stepped into the room, rainwater still dripping from his coat. "You're right. I did." His voice was cold, controlled. Nothing like the desperate man from the coffee shop. "See, everything I told Alina this afternoon was true, except one thing." He pulled out his phone and showed them both the screen, a recording. Daniel and Alina on a video call, planning, conspiring, discussing how to frame Marcus for embezzlement, while Daniel played the sympathetic victim to gain Alina's trust, from 2 weeks ago. "You weren't trying to stop them, Daniel. You were helping them finish the job." Marcus's eyes were dead. "And I knew the only way to catch you was to let you think you'd won. Let you think Alina trusted you. Let you bring all the evidence to one place where the FBI could seize it." Daniel's face crumbled. "That video is fake. Alina must have doctored it. We'll let forensics decide that." The agent pulled him toward the door. "Come on." As they dragged him past, Daniel locked eyes with Alina one last time. "The laptop," he said. "Look at the laptop. It has everything. It proves I'm telling the truth." Then he was gone, leaving Alina alone with Marcus and the laptop sitting on the table between them. Marcus moved toward it. "Don't," one of the agents said. "That's evidence now." "Of course." Marcus stepped back, hands raised. But Alina saw something flicker across his face. Relief? Or maybe fear. She looked at the laptop, at the agents preparing to bag it, at Marcus standing too carefully away from it, and she realized with sudden, crushing clarity that someone in this room was lying. She just didn't know who. The FBI field office smelled like burnt coffee and recycled air. Alina sat in an interrogation room across from Agent Sarah Chen, who had kind eyes and questions that cut like surgical knives. "Walk me through the diner again," Chen said. "When Daniel Rivera first approached you." "I already told you. 3 times. Tell me again." Alina closed her eyes, saw rain against windows, saw Daniel's hand reaching across the table, saw the moment before everything went wrong. He said his world had exploded like mine. He said his wife had stolen from him. He said he understood what I was going through. She opened her eyes. It felt real. "Feelings aren't evidence, Mrs. Sterling. I know that now." Chen slid a folder across the table. "More photos, more evidence. Daniel and Alina together in restaurants, in hotel lobbies, at airports, all dated within the last month. Your husband was right. Daniel Rivera was working with his ex-wife the entire time. They never stopped. The divorce, the bankruptcy, the FBI investigation against him, all staged, all designed to make him look like a victim so he could get close to targets like you." Alina stared at the photos until they blurred. "What about the laptop? The evidence he said would prove his innocence? Forensics is analyzing it now. But initial findings show mostly encrypted files and corrupted data. Whatever he claimed was on there, we haven't been able to access it yet." Chen leaned forward. "Mrs. Sterling, I need you to understand something. These people are professionals. They've been doing this for over a decade. They're very good at making you believe whatever serves their purpose. So Daniel lied about everything. We believe so, yes. And Marcus is innocent." Chen's expression shifted, something guarded moving behind her eyes. "Your husband cooperated fully with our investigation. Without his help, we wouldn't have been able to catch Rivera or track Alina and Vanessa's movements." She paused. "He's been very concerned about your well-being throughout this process. Can I go home now?" "Soon. We just need you to sign some statements. Confirm the timeline of events." Chen stood. "I know this has been traumatic, but you're safe now. The people who tried to hurt you are either in custody or being hunted. Your husband is outside waiting for you. He's been here for 6 hours." The door closed behind Chen. Alina sat alone in the small room with its 2-way mirror and its bolted-down furniture and its air that tasted like lies. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Check your email. Private account. The one you never told Marcus about. Her heart stopped. She pulled out her phone with shaking hands. Logged into the email account she'd set up years ago, the one she used for therapy appointments and private banking and things she didn't want to share. One new message. No subject. No sender name. She opened it. A video file. She pressed play. Marcus's face filled the screen, but not the Marcus she knew. This Marcus wore a different kind of smile. Colder, hungrier. He sat across from Alina and Vanessa in what looked like an expensive hotel suite. "So we're agreed," Marcus said on the video. "I get her to trust me again. Play the victim, the reformed husband. Meanwhile, you two make sure Daniel takes the fall for everything." "And what do we get?" Elena's voice. "Immunity, new identities, and $5 million split between you." Marcus leaned back. "I've already arranged the offshore transfers. Once the FBI closes the case with Daniel as the mastermind, the money's yours and you disappear forever. And your wife?" Marcus's smile turned cruel. "My wife gets exactly what she deserves. A traumatic experience that makes her grateful to have me. That makes her forget she ever wanted to leave. That makes her sign the post-nuptial agreement my lawyers have been drafting." He took a sip of whiskey. "She'll be so damaged, so broken, that she'll cling to the one stable thing left in her life. Me. You're a cold bastard, Sterling. I'm a businessman. And right now, my wife is a liability with access to half my fortune. This way, I keep my money, my reputation, and a wife who's too traumatized to ever question me again." His eyes glittered. "It's perfect." The video ended. Alina sat frozen. The phone nearly slipped from her numb fingers. Another text appeared. Daniel was telling the truth. "Your husband orchestrated everything. He hired me and my sister to destroy you both. The affair, the blackmail, the frame job, all him. I'm sending this because he's planning to kill me and Alina once we've served our purpose. I don't want to die for helping a monster. The laptop has real evidence. Marcus is trying to make sure it gets accidentally corrupted before anyone can examine it properly. Stop him." "Vanessa." The door opened. Marcus walked in with 2 coffees and concern written across his face like a mask. "Hey, baby. They said you're almost done here. I brought you coffee." Alina took the cup with steady hands, met his eyes over the rim. "Thank you. We're going to get through this. Together." He sat beside her. "I know you're hurting. I know you're confused about what's real and what isn't. But I need you to know something." "What's that?" "I'm never going to let anyone hurt you again." His hand covered hers. "Those people tried to destroy us. They tried to tear apart everything we built. But they failed. We're stronger than they thought." Alina set down the coffee. "I need to use the bathroom." "Of course. I'll wait here." She stood, walked to the door, turned back. Marcus sat in the interrogation room looking like a concerned husband. Looking like safety. Looking like everything she'd wanted to believe he was. But she'd seen his real face now. The one he wore when he thought no one was watching. "Marcus." "Yeah? When did you know?" "About Alina and Vanessa targeting us?" His expression didn't change. Didn't flicker. Perfect control. 3 weeks ago, when Vanessa's demands got serious. "Not before?" "No, why?" Alina smiled, sweet, poisonous. "No reason. I'll be right back." She walked out, found Agent Chen in the hallway. "I need to talk to Daniel Rivera. Right now. Alone. That's highly irregular. I have evidence. New evidence. But I need to verify something with Daniel before I share it." Alina met her eyes. "Please, 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking." Chen studied her face. Whatever she saw there made her nod. 5 minutes. I'll be right outside the door." They brought Daniel up from holding, handcuffed, exhausted. His eyes widened when he saw Alina. "You shouldn't be here. Shut up and listen." She pulled out her phone, showed him the video, watched his face as he processed what he was seeing. When it finished, he looked at her with something like horror. "He played us all." "Yes." "The laptop. If they examine it properly, they'll find proof. But Marcus is going to make sure they don't." Daniel leaned forward. "Alina, you can't trust the FBI on this. He's got connections, money, influence. He'll bury the evidence before anyone can see it." "I know. So what are you going to do?" Alina was quiet for a long moment. Outside the interrogation room, Marcus waited. Outside the building, her old life waited. Everything she'd built over 5 years of marriage. "I'm going to make a choice," she said finally. "A choice that might destroy me. But it's the only choice that gives us both a chance." "What choice?" She stood, walked to the door, knocked for Chen to let her out. "Wait," Daniel called. "Alina, what are you doing?" She looked back at him one last time. "I'm going to trust you. And you're going to have to trust me. She paused. Whatever happens next, don't confess to anything. Don't take any deals. Just wait. For what? For me to burn everything down. The door closed behind her. Alina walked back to the interrogation room where Marcus waited. Sat down across from him with her coffee going cold between her hands. Everything okay? He asked. Perfect. She took a breath. Marcus, I want to go home. I want to put all of this behind us. I want to try again. His face transformed. Relief. Victory. Something darker underneath. Really? Really? She took his hand. You were right. Those people almost destroyed us. But they didn't. We're still here. We're still together. Marcus pulled her close. His arms around her felt like chains. I love you so much, he whispered into her hair. I'm going to make this right. I promise. Over his shoulder, Alina caught her reflection in the two-way mirror. She barely recognized the woman staring back. But that woman knew exactly what needed to happen next, and she was willing to sacrifice everything to make it happen, even herself. 3 days later, Alina stood in the penthouse that used to feel like home. Marcus was at the office. The FBI had closed their active investigation. Satisfied that Daniel Rivera was the mastermind and the Hoffman sisters were in the wind, the laptop sat on the marble counter. The FBI had finished their preliminary analysis and returned it to Marcus as part of his cooperation agreement. He'd been planning to destroy it this afternoon. Alina had heard him on the phone with someone, discussing the best way to dispose of evidence without leaving traces. She opened the laptop. Vanessa's instructions had been hidden in that last text. A password, a file path, a truth waiting to be unlocked. Her fingers flew across the keyboard. Files appeared, emails, bank records, video recordings, years of evidence showing Marcus as the architect of multiple cons, not just against her and Daniel, but against dozens of business rivals, competitors, anyone who threatened his empire. He'd hired Alina and Vanessa years ago, kept them on retainer, used them to destroy people legally, financially, personally, all while maintaining his reputation as a legitimate businessman. The affair wasn't a mistake. It was a test, a way to see how she'd react, a way to break her down so he could rebuild her the way he wanted. Alina downloaded everything to 3 encrypted thumb drives, sent copies to secure email accounts Marcus didn't know existed, created a dead man's switch that would release everything to major news outlets and law enforcement if she didn't check in every 48 hours. Then she called Agent Chen. I need to revise my statement. And I need protection. Federal protection. Her voice didn't shake. Because I'm about to give you evidence that proves my husband is guilty of conspiracy, fraud, extortion, and possibly murder for hire. Mrs. Sterling, we've already closed the investigation. Then open it again. Because Daniel Rivera was telling the truth. And I can prove it. Silence on the line. How? I have the laptop. The real contents. The evidence Marcus has been trying to destroy. Alina looked out the window at the city spread below. But I need guarantees. Immunity for Daniel in exchange for his testimony. Protection for me. And a promise that you'll investigate Marcus Sterling with the same intensity you investigated Daniel. That's a lot to ask. I'm offering you the biggest white-collar crime case of your career. Conspiracy that spans years and dozens of victims. Enough evidence to put Marcus Sterling away for the rest of his life. She paused. So yes, it's a lot to ask, but it's worth it. More silence. Where are you now? Somewhere safe. Somewhere he can't find me. A lie. She was in the penthouse with the door locked and her hands shaking. I'll meet you in 2 hours. Public place. Grand Central Terminal. Main concourse. Come alone or I walk away, and the evidence disappears forever. Mrs. Sterling. 2 hours, Agent Chen. And bring authorization for witness protection, because after today, Alina Martinez Sterling won't exist anymore. Her reflection stared back from the window, a stranger wearing her face. She'll have to die so someone else can live. She hung up. 1 hour and 58 minutes until she walked into Grand Central and ended one life to begin. Another Alina stood in the penthouse that used to be home and felt nothing. No grief, no fear, no regret. Just the cold clarity of someone who'd finally stopped running from the truth. Her phone buzzed, a text from Marcus. Almost done here. Be home in an hour. I love you, she typed back. I love you too, the last lie she'd ever tell him. Then she picked up her pre-packed bag, grabbed the laptop and thumb drives, and walked out of the penthouse without looking back. The elevator descended 30 stories. With every floor, Alina Martinez Sterling fell away, and someone new began to rise from the ashes. Grand Central Terminal pulsed with afternoon crowds. Tourists taking photos, commuters rushing to trains. The constellation ceiling glowed above like a promise of worlds beyond this one. Alina stood beneath the clock at the center of the main concourse. The laptop bag hung heavy on her shoulder, heavier than it should be. Agent Chen appeared through the crowd alone, professional, cautious. You came, Alina said. You have evidence that could take down one of the most powerful men in the city. Of course I came. Chen's eyes scanned the terminal. Do you have the protection authorization? Chen handed her an envelope. Alina opened it. Read the official documents. New identity, safe house. Federal protection in exchange for testimony. The death of Alina Martinez Sterling, certified by the U.S. government. And Daniel? Full immunity pending cooperation. He'll testify against Marcus Sterling and provide information about the Hoffman sisters' operations. Chen's expression softened. He asked about you. Wanted to make sure you were safe. Something twisted in Alina's chest. He doesn't get to care about me. Not after everything? Maybe not. But he does anyway. Chen held out her hand. The laptop? Alina's fingers tightened on the strap. I need to know something first. When you investigate Marcus, when you take him down, will he know it was me? Will he know I'm the one who destroyed him? Chen was quiet for a moment. The crowd flowed around them like water around stones. He'll know. Men like Marcus Sterling always know. She met Alina's eyes. Is that what you want? Alina thought about the penthouse. The diamond ring she'd left on the marble counter. The 5 years she'd spent building a life with a man who'd been planning her destruction from the beginning. Yes, she said. I want him to know. I want him to spend every day in prison knowing that the woman he tried to break is the one who buried him. Then he'll know. Chen took the laptop. We'll need you in a safe house until the trial. Could be months, maybe a year. I understand. You'll have to cut ties with everyone from your old life. Family, friends, anyone who might lead Marcus to you. Chen's voice went gentle. This is your last chance to change your mind. Once we start this, there's no going back. Alina looked up at the constellation ceiling, at those painted stars that had guided travelers for over a century. I'm not going back. I'm never going back. Okay. Chen pulled out her phone. My team is waiting outside. We'll take you somewhere secure. Get you processed. Start building the case. Wait. Alina reached into her bag, pulled out one of the encrypted thumb drives. This is for Daniel. When you meet with him, what's on it? Proof that his daughter's death wasn't his fault. Traffic camera footage. Witness statements. Everything he needs to clear his name and prove Elena was driving. Her throat tightened. He deserves to know the truth. He deserves to be free of that guilt. Chen took the drive carefully. You're protecting him. I'm giving him what I wanted someone to give me. The truth, even when it hurts. Alina started walking toward the exit. Even when it costs everything. They made it halfway across the terminal when Alina's phone rang. Marcus. Her steps faltered. Don't answer it, Chen said. We're too close. But Alina's finger was already swiping. Hello, Marcus. Where are you? His voice was tight, controlled, but she could hear the panic underneath. I came home. You're not here. Your things are gone. I'm somewhere you'll never find me. Silence. Then his voice went cold. You took the laptop. I did. Alina, baby, whatever you think you found, whatever someone told you, it's not real. It's not true. The desperation bled through now. Please, come home. We can talk about this. We can fix this. You can't fix what you deliberately broke, Marcus. You can't rebuild someone after you were the one who destroyed them. She stopped in the middle of the terminal. People flowed around her. I know everything. The videos, the emails, the years of cons and crimes and lives you ruined. I know who you really are. If you know, then you know what I'm capable of. What I'll do to people who betray me. Is that a threat? It's a fact. His voice dropped to a whisper. I made you, Alina. I can unmake you just as easily. I have lawyers, connections, money. I'll bury you so deep you'll never see daylight again. You already tried to bury me, Marcus. You spent 5 years digging my grave. Her voice stayed steady. But I climbed out. And now I'm coming for you with everything you tried to use against everyone else, evidence, testimony, the truth. You'll regret this. The only thing I regret is not seeing you clearly sooner. She paused. Goodbye, Marcus. Enjoy the empire while it lasts. By tomorrow morning, the FBI will have enough evidence to turn it to ash. She hung up. Chen was staring at her. That was dangerous. That was necessary. Alina deleted Marcus's number from her phone. Then she deleted every contact, every photo, every piece of the life she used to have. He needed to know. And I needed to tell him. They walked out of Grand Central into afternoon sunlight. A black SUV waited at the curb. Federal agents inside. Mrs. Sterling, Chen said. Your new life starts now. Are you ready? Alina looked back at the terminal one last time. At the crowds and the chaos and the beautiful impossibility of human connection in all its broken, messy reality. I'm ready. She climbed into the SUV. The door closed behind her with the finality of a choice that couldn't be unmade. 6 months later, Daniel Rivera sat in a coffee shop in Portland under an assumed name. The barista called out orders in a voice that didn't sound like Elena's. The rain outside didn't sound like accusations. His phone buzzed, an email from an address he didn't recognize. Subject line. You're free, he opened it. Court documents. Proof that Alina had been driving the night Emma died. Witness statements corroborating his innocence. His daughter's death certificate updated to reflect the truth, and a single line at the bottom. She knew you needed this. She wanted you to have it. Don't look for her. Live your life. Agent Chen Daniel's hands shook as he closed the laptop. Alina had given him freedom. Had given him back his daughter's memory without the weight of false guilt. Had given him a chance to be whole again. He looked out the window at the rain-soaked street. At the people passing by with their own stories and struggles and secret hopes. Somewhere out there, Alina was building a new life. Somewhere safe. Somewhere Marcus Sterling's shadow couldn't reach. He hoped she was happy. He hoped she'd found peace. He hoped she knew that one night in a diner, 2 broken people had saved each other in ways they'd never fully understand. The rain kept falling. The coffee shop kept serving, and Daniel Rivera smiled for the first time in 3 years. 1 year later, a woman named Sarah Mitchell walked through a farmer's market in a small town in Montana. Dark hair cut short. No diamonds, no designer clothes. Just jeans and a sweater and sunglasses that hid eyes that had seen too much. She stopped at a flower stand. Picked up a bouquet of wildflowers. Beautiful choice, the vendor said. Special occasion? You could say that. Sarah handed over cash. Today's the anniversary of the day I started over. Sounds like a story. It is. Sarah took the flowers. But it's mine, and I'm still writing the ending. She walked through the market with her flowers and her new name and her life that no one from before would recognize. Her phone buzzed. A news alert. Marcus Sterling sentenced to 25 years in federal prison for conspiracy and fraud. She read the article. Saw his face in the courtroom. Saw the empire turn to rubble. Saw justice written in columns of text and legal terminology. Then she deleted the alert and kept walking. Marcus Sterling was someone else's problem now. Someone else's nightmare. Someone else's cautionary tale about the price of believing your own lies. Sarah Mitchell had flowers to put in a vase, had coffee to brew in her tiny apartment, had a life to live that belonged entirely to her. She thought about Daniel sometimes. Wondered if he'd found peace. Wondered if he thought about that night in the diner when 2 strangers had held hands across a table and tried to remember how to be human. She thought about Marcus more than she wanted to admit. About the husband she'd loved who'd never really existed. About the ghost of a marriage that had died the moment she found those hotel receipts. But mostly, she thought about herself. About the woman who'd walked out of a penthouse and into the rain. Who'd chosen the hard truth over comfortable lies. Who'd sacrificed everything to become someone new. About the woman who'd learned that sometimes the only way to survive is to die first. To let go of who you were so you can discover who you might become. Sarah. Mitchell reached her apartment, put the flowers in water, made coffee in her small kitchen, and she stood at the window looking out at mountains she'd never seen before, in a town where no one knew her story, living a life she'd built from the ashes of the one that burned. She wasn't Alina Martinez Sterling anymore. She wasn't a wife or a victim or a woman defined by someone else's choices. She was just Sarah, and that was enough. The sun set over the mountains. The flowers bloomed in their vase. The coffee steamed in its mug. And somewhere in a small town in Montana, a woman who used to be someone else smiled, because she'd finally found what she'd been searching for all along. Not happiness. Not revenge. Not even peace. Just the freedom to choose who she wanted to be, and the courage to become her. The end.